I'm Dr. Fatu Taki, and I'm here at this conference representing Eminent Women Peace Mediators, CLA. It's very important to be to be doing postmortems on processes that we have and that we experience. So the whole elections, 2023 elections. So from the Eminent Women Peace Mediators point of view, we look at peace before, during, and after elections, and we look at the processes that lead to elections, and we do an assessment looking from a women's lens and perspective of how one is social cohesion, how men and women work together, even within the political sphere, and also how women see their responsibilities as citizens, not half citizens, but full citizens who are to make sure they exercise their franchise to the fullest. So from the processes of getting themselves registered, the processes of getting their cards, the process of going to vote, the process of going to vote freely for whoever you want to have, and kind of accepting the results that have come out. So having a discussion like this, a 2-day with a panel with various topics, and having various peoples from different places being part of the panel, and having a plenary where all the women and men who are here are able to deliberate on the issues is very important and very key. And it also puts us, I think, puts us in a readiness for the next elections that should come, especially for the space where we see women, how they see themselves functioning within these structures and the processes, and how we want to see, as always, I want to see women as leaders and women as within the governance structure, regardless of political party. What's being where you're able to vie and where you're able to campaign and where people can vote for you, but also where you can vote for people who you deem fit to run the country for the next 5 years. So this is why I think it's important to be having conversations like this, to be digging up where, there are some things that might have been missed out. But the fact that you have people from the regions and the districts who have come in from various civil society, everyone has been doing their bit. And looking at even the legislation, looking at laws that have been passed, laws that have been revised, and how it's put women in a particular area, I think is very important and very key. So happy you and women was able to do this.
Can you give us an overview of your operation during the electionary process?
Okay, so for Eminent Women Peace Mediators, actually this organization spanned out from the Eminent Women, of which we had Eminent Women is the global, is international, funded and started by Angie Brooks, International Center. And so after the 2018 elections, the Sierra Leonean women decided that to have a local chapter where we would have Sierra Leonean women look at Sierra Leonean problems and try to profile Sierra Leonean answers to some of these. And that's how Eminent Women Peace Mediators started, and that's where it originated from. When you do a comparison of what it was before, like elections that we've had before, there seemed to have been a relatively lower, slightly lower number of calls that came in to make complaints about intimidation and violence. And I think this is as a result of having the media come in, having people talk about this, having all this peace campaign going on social cohesion, but also having women standing up now and not just cowering into intimidation. So once people want to try to take some kind of advantage, they're there, and other women and men around to support them. So I think the sensitization, awareness raising has in effect materialized in having slightly lower. But also what is key is having these laws, having the legislative change and having laws reviewed that's kind of that have an affirmative action thing to them. So like having the 3 out of every 3 should have 1. So even though it's not clear which position the 1 should be, and that Sierra Leone is, I say it's work in progress. So obviously that has to be improved. But the fact that we have the provision made within the laws that there must be a woman in the nominations has led us now to an increased number. And having the GIWI law finally put into existence has also given us, and of course you see political will in this, because you've seen a high number of women being appointed as well to serve, and this is what we're saying. So we haven't got to where we my former institution that I headed, which I'm still a part of, 50-50. You're looking at the 2030 UN is, which is parity for all. So by that time we're expecting to have 50-50 representation of women and men within government, and I think we're gradually getting there. We still have a lot of stumbling blocks. We still have a lot of things that need to be looked at. We still have to work on men and women understanding that we're all equal in the eyes of the law, and we're all equal even in religion and anything. But to be able to be given the space to be able to do what you want to do is important. So breaking down the barriers of socio-cultural, religious, all the barriers that are man-made that we put, around ourselves, there's still work to be done, but we're gradually getting there. I am very optimistic. Recommendations towards the next elections, I think we would have women need to start preparing now to have a higher number of women within who vying for positions. I think women within political parties have to make themselves more vibrant and more relevant within the political parties, so that their voices are heard. If you're within a political party, please pay your dues, so nobody will tell you you're not an authentic voice within that party. And we need to show our worth where we need to be ready for it. And I think a lot of women are ready, a lot of young people, both men as well as women are ready. But it's important to know that in this readiness, you have to make provision for inclusion. It cannot just be about you and what your kind looks like. You have to have diversity around it, and which is what they're having women around there, having persons with disability around it, normally marginalized people around. You need to make sure, and I think this is what makes it progress. Everyone has to feel that they're part of the country, not having a homogeneous group looking at. I mean, we've had this over the past 60 years, so I think it's about time we start tweaking the way we think to be able to make the changes that we want as we find ourselves in this kind of position now, and what we're preparing our country for the children that are coming after us.